Let me share with you a counterintuitive truth. Constraints are not limitations, they are catalysts for creativity. If you've ever felt stifled by a lack of resources, tight deadlines, or restrictive guidelines, it's time to reframe your perspective. Constraints force you to think differently, innovate, and make the most of what you have. Far from being obstacles, they can unlock your potential and drive extraordinary output. Let me show you how to harness the power of constraints to fuel your creativity and achieve remarkable results. The first reason constraints spark creativity is that they eliminate overwhelm. When you have infinite options, it's easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis, debating endlessly about which path to take. Constraints narrow your focus, giving you a clear framework within which to operate. For example, imagine you're tasked with writing a story but limited to exactly 100 words. That restriction forces you to choose your words carefully, crafting a concise and impactful narrative. By removing the burden of endless possibilities, constraints help you channel your energy into action rather than indecision. Another powerful aspect of constraints is that they encourage resourcefulness. Scarcity breeds ingenuity. When you don't have access to unlimited time, money, or materials, you're forced to find creative solutions. Think of startups operating on shoestring budgets. They often produce groundbreaking innovations because they must maximize every dollar and minute. Similarly, artists working with limited supplies might discover unconventional techniques that set their work apart. Constraints push you to stretch your imagination and make the ordinary extraordinary. Constraints also foster discipline and prioritization. With fewer resources or tighter deadlines, you're compelled to focus on what truly matters. This clarity ensures that your efforts are aligned with your goals, preventing wasted energy on low-value tasks. For instance, if you only have 2 hours to prepare a presentation, you'll prioritize key points and visuals that deliver the greatest impact. Constraints strip away the fluff, leaving behind only the essentials, a hallmark of high-quality work. To use constraints effectively, embrace them as part of the process. Instead of viewing limitations as barriers, treat them as opportunities to innovate. Start by identifying the constraints you're facing, whether it's a budget cap, a word count, or a strict timeline, and ask yourself, how can I turn this limitation into an advantage? For example, if you're designing a product with a small team, consider how collaboration tools or modular approaches could enhance efficiency. Reframing constraints as challenges to solve shifts your mindset from frustration to excitement. One practical way to leverage constraints is through structured experimentation. Set deliberate boundaries to guide your creative process. Writers might challenge themselves to draft a poem using only monosyllabic words, while designers could create logos using just 3 colors. These self-imposed limits push you out of your comfort zone and inspire fresh ideas. Over time, practicing creativity within constraints strengthens your problem-solving muscles, making you more adaptable in any situation. Constraints also promote collaboration and teamwork. When individuals face shared limitations, they're more likely to pool their skills and perspectives to overcome challenges. For example, a film crew working with a modest budget might brainstorm cost-efficient filming locations or innovative storytelling methods. The collective effort required to navigate constraints fosters camaraderie and sparks creative synergy. By embracing constraints together, teams can achieve outcomes far greater than what any individual could accomplish alone. It's important to note that not all constraints are external. You can impose them intentionally. If you find yourself struggling to start or complete a project, try setting artificial limits to jumpstart your progress. For instance, commit to writing for just 15 minutes, sketching with only 1 pencil, or solving a problem without using technology. These self-imposed boundaries create urgency and focus, helping you overcome procrastination and perfectionism. Finally, celebrate the creativity born from constraints. Reflect on past successes where limitations led to unexpected breakthroughs. Did a tight deadline force you to streamline a process? Did a limited budget inspire a cost-saving innovation? Recognizing these moments reinforces your confidence in navigating future constraints. Share these stories with others, They serve as reminders that creativity thrives under pressure. Here's a practical tip. Apply the less is more principle to your next project. Whether you're planning an event, creating content, or developing a product, identify one area where you can impose a constraint. Limit your color palette, reduce the number of slides in a presentation, or set a strict time limit for brainstorming sessions. Observe how these boundaries influence your approach and outcome. Let me leave you with this thought. Constraints are not chains, they are wings. They lift you above the noise of infinite choices and propel you toward focused, innovative action. By embracing limitations, you tap into reservoirs of creativity you didn't know existed. Constraints remind us that true genius lies not in having everything we need, but in making the most of what we have. So here's my challenge to you. Identify one area of your life or work where you feel constrained, whether it's time, resources, or rules, and commit to reframing it as an opportunity. Use that limitation to drive your creativity and see what emerges. Go ahead, start now. Your future self will thank you.